Welcome to my channel Old Valuable Chiller. Today we are deep diving into fascinating story the 1945 1-cent coin from the United States, commonly known as the Lincoln Wheat Penny, is one of the most fascinating pieces of American numismatic history. This coin carries with it the story of America during World War II, the era of economic change, and the legacy of Abraham Lincoln. Collectors and coin enthusiasts around the world recognize the 1945 penny as not only a common circulation coin but also a coin that connects us to the past. In this video, we will explore every detail of the 1945 1-cent coin, including its history, minting process, design, metal composition, varieties, eras, mintage numbers, and current value in today's coin market. This will help collectors and investors fully understand why the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny continues to be a favorite in United States coin collecting. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse of the coin features the famous portrait of President Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse displays two wheat stalks on either side, symbolizing prosperity and national strength. By 1945, the wheat penny had already been in circulation for over 3 decades, but its importance grew because of the timing. The year 1945 was the final year of World War II, a period when the United States Mint was under pressure to produce billions of coins for circulation while also conserving metals for the war effort. The 1945 penny was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint produced the highest number of coins, and these pennies do not carry a mint mark. The Denver Mint coins have a small D mint mark below the date, and the San Francisco Mint coins have an S mint mark. Understanding mint marks is important for collectors because they often affect rarity and value. Although all 3 types of the 1945 penny are relatively common, some specific conditions and varieties can make certain pieces more valuable than others. When it comes to composition, the 1945 1-cent coin is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Unlike the steel pennies of 1943, which were made during the war to save copper for ammunition and equipment, the 1945 pennies returned to the traditional bronze composition. This makes them more durable and attractive to collectors. Over time, copper coins can tone and develop beautiful shades of brown or red, which can significantly impact their desirability. Collectors often categorize 1945 pennies based on color, such as brown, red-brown, or full red, with full red examples being the most prized and valuable. Now let's talk about mintage numbers. In 1945, over 1 billion wheat pennies were struck. Philadelphia alone produced more than 1 billion coins, Denver produced over 266 million, and San Francisco produced more than 181 million. Because of these high numbers, the 1945 penny is considered one of the most common wheat pennies, which is why it often serves as an entry-level coin for new collectors. However, common does not mean worthless. Collectors always look for well-preserved examples, especially those graded mint state by professional coin grading services. A typical circulated 1945 penny may be worth only a few cents to a few dollars, but high-grade uncirculated examples can be worth significantly more. Error coins from 1945 also attract special attention. Some examples include double-die obverse varieties, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and repunched mint marks. These minting errors can turn a regular penny worth only a few cents into one valued at hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the rarity and condition. Collectors should examine their coins carefully with a magnifying glass to look for these rare varieties. Even a small error can increase the value dramatically. When assessing the value of a 1945 penny, collectors must consider condition, mint mark, color, and whether the coin is an error or variety. For example, a brown circulated 1945 penny might sell for just a few cents, while a bright red uncirculated 1945 S penny graded MS67 could sell for hundreds of dollars at auction. In some cases, top-graded examples with full red luster have reached values over $1,000. This is why grading and preservation are so important. Coins kept in protective holders or slabs tend to retain their color and value over time. Another interesting aspect of the 1945 penny is its place in American history. Minted during the final year of World War II, these coins circulated during a time when the world was experiencing massive change. Soldiers returning home from the war, families adjusting to peace, and the rebuilding of the American economy all took place during the years when the 1945 penny was in pockets and purses across the nation. Holding a 1945 penny today is like holding a small piece of that era's history. Collectors often wonder if they should save or sell their 1945 pennies. The answer depends on the condition of the coin. If you have a heavily worn example, its value might be low, but it can still hold sentimental or historical worth. On the other hand, if you have a sharp, red uncirculated penny, it might be worth submitting to a grading service to maximize its value. Even circulated coins can be part of a complete Lincoln wheat penny collection, which spans from 1909 to 1958 and remains one of the most collected coin series in the world. In today's market, the 1945 penny remains widely available, but demand continues because of its affordable entry point for new collectors and its historical connection for seasoned numismatists. Online auctions, coin shows, and local dealers regularly sell 1945 pennies in rolls, bags, and individually graded slabs. If you're looking to add one to your collection, you can easily find one, but searching for a top-quality coin with full red luster and no distracting marks will be more challenging and rewarding. The 1945 penny is also a great teaching tool for young collectors. Because it is affordable and historically significant, it helps introduce new generations to the world of coin collecting. Parents and teachers often use wheat pennies like the 1945 example to spark interest in history, economics, and numismatics. In fact, many collectors remember the thrill of finding a 1945 penny in their pocket change when they were young, which inspired them to pursue the hobby. As we reflect on the 1945 1-cent coin from the United States, it is clear that its value goes beyond just money. It represents the end of a global conflict, the resilience of a nation, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln. Whether you are a beginner just learning about wheat pennies or an experienced collector searching for rare varieties, the 1945 penny has something to offer. From its bronze composition and historical significance to its collectible errors and high-grade examples, this coin remains a cornerstone of American numismatics. First up, the 1951 South Lincoln Wheat Center from the United States is one of the fascinating coins in American numismatic history. This coin belongs to the famous wheat penny series, also called the Lincoln Wheat Cent, which was minted from 1909 until 1958. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner and has remained one of the most collected coins in the world. Collectors, investors, and history lovers all seek to know more about the 1951 penny, its mintage, its features, its errors, and most importantly, its value today. The obverse, or the front side of the 1951 South Lincoln Wheat Center, features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. The word liberty is inscribed to the left of Lincoln, while the motto "In God We Trust" is above his head. The date, 1951, is found on the right side, along with the mint mark S, which identifies the San Francisco Mint as the producer of this coin. The reverse, or the backside, shows the classic wheat ears on each side, framing the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. At the top, the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, can be seen. The San Francisco Mint struck millions of these coins in 1951, making it a common date within the wheat cent series. The total mintage for the 1951 wheat penny was around 136 million, which is a substantial number. However, despite the high mintage, finding a coin in excellent condition, with sharp details and bright red luster, can be very challenging. Most 1951 pennies in circulation were used heavily, leading to wear and discoloration. That is why higher-grade examples, particularly those with strong strikes and original mint red color, can be very valuable to collectors today. When it comes to grading, the condition of the coin plays the most important role in its market value. A circulated 1951 penny in lower grades, such as good or very good, may only be worth a few cents, perhaps between 3 and 10 cents. However, in higher grades like extremely fine or about uncirculated, the value can rise to around 50 cents or $1. Once the coin reaches the mint state grades, also called uncirculated grades, the value increases significantly. A red uncirculated 1951 penny can bring several dollars, and in higher mint state grades like MS65 or MS66, the value can be much higher, sometimes reaching $50 or more depending on market demand. Collectors often search for error coins and varieties within the 1951 South Lincoln Wheat Center. Minting errors can make an ordinary coin worth much more. Examples include off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, die cracks, or doubled dies. Some 1951 pennies show repunched mint marks, where the S mint mark was punched more than once into the die, creating a doubled appearance. These varieties can add a premium to the coin's value, making them attractive to specialists. Even minor errors can turn a coin worth only a few cents into one worth several dollars or more. Another important factor in the value of the 1951 South Wheat Center is its color designation. Professional coin grading services classify copper coins into three main categories: brown, red-brown, and red. A fully red coin, which retains its original copper brilliance, is considered the most desirable and valuable. Over time, copper naturally tones and darkens, which is why it is difficult to find a true red example of a 1951 penny. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins with strong eye appeal and bright color. The 1951 South Lincoln Wheat Center also carries historical significance. This coin was struck during the post-World War II era, a time when the United States was experiencing growth and change. Coins like the 1951 penny were used in everyday commerce, buying goods and services, and passing through the hands of millions of Americans. Holding such a coin today can feel like holding a small piece of American history. Investors and collectors often ask whether the 1951 wheat penny is a good coin to add to their collection. The answer is yes, especially for those who enjoy building complete sets of Lincoln wheat cents. Because the series ran from 1909 to 1958, many collectors aim to complete a full date and mint mark set. The 1951 is a necessary piece of that puzzle. While not a rare date, its higher grade examples and era varieties provide strong interest in the market. When talking about coin values, it is important to remember that the market can fluctuate. Prices depend on collector demand, the overall condition of the coin, and rarity within certain grades. For example, while a common circulated example may not sell for much, a high-grade, certified, mint state red 1951 penny could sell for much more at auction. Some examples have reached impressive prices in professional coin auctions, showing how collectors are willing to pay a premium for the best examples. If you happen to come across a 1951 wheat penny in your pocket change, the first step is to examine its condition carefully. Look for the mint mark S to confirm it is from San Francisco. Then check for any signs of mint errors or unusual features. If the coin appears uncirculated with strong luster, it may be worth having it graded by a professional service. Even if it is worn, it still holds historical interest and collectible value beyond its 1-cent face value. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series continues to be one of the most beloved and widely collected coins in the United States. The 1951 is a great representation of this classic design and era. Whether you are a beginner collector just starting with wheat pennies, or an advanced collector searching for high-grade examples, the 1951 penny deserves attention. Its affordability in lower grades makes it accessible to all collectors, while its potential rarity in higher grades makes it exciting for serious numismatists. Next up, the 1965 United States quarter dollar is one of the most fascinating coins in American numismatic history. Collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts continue to search for valuable details about this particular quarter, and today we are going to explore everything you need to know about the 1965 quarter dollar coin, its history, its value, its errors, and why it continues to hold a special place in coin collecting communities. The 1965 quarter dollar marks an important turning point in U.S. coinage because it was the first year that quarters were produced without any silver content. Prior to 1965, U.S. quarters contained 90% silver and 10% copper, giving them intrinsic metal value that often exceeded their face value. Rising silver prices in the early 1960s led to widespread hoarding of silver coins, creating a shortage in circulation. To combat this, the United States Mint transitioned to clad coinage beginning in 1965, producing quarters with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This composition remains the same today, but the 1965 quarter was the first of its kind, making it historically significant. The coin itself features the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan. The word liberty is inscribed above, the phrase "In God We Trust" is placed to the left, and the date 1965 appears below Washington's bust. On the reverse, you will find the heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, symbolizing both military readiness and peace. The words United States of America and quarter dollar encircle the design. One key fact about the 1965 quarter dollar coin is that it was struck at multiple facilities, including the Philadelphia Mint, but no mint mark appears on these coins, as mint marks were temporarily removed between 1965 and 1967 in order to discourage coin hoarding. This lack of mint mark can confuse new collectors, but it is a defining feature of quarters produced in those transitional years. Now let's discuss the value of the 1965 quarter. In circulated condition, most 1965 quarters are worth only face value, since billions were produced and most remain in existence. However, uncirculated or mint state coins can carry premiums for collectors. A 1965 quarter in higher mint state grades, such as MS-65 or above, can be worth several dollars, with some pristine examples selling for much higher depending on luster, strike quality, and eye appeal. The real excitement comes from error coins. Certain 1965 quarters have been found struck on silver planchets leftover from 1964 production. These transitional error coins are incredibly rare and can be worth thousands of dollars, sometimes reaching values well into five figures depending on grade. To identify one of these rare silver 1965 quarters, collectors often weigh the coin. A normal clad 1965 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while a silver quarter from 1964 or an error 1965 struck on a silver planchette weighs about 6.25 grams. That difference may seem small, but it is a crucial indicator. Testing with a precise scale is one of the best methods for spotting a rare silver transitional error. Other errors on 1965 quarters include double die strikes, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and strike-through errors, all of which can carry premium values. Collectors carefully inspect the lettering, the motto, the eagle feathers, and the date for doubling or other irregularities. Some error varieties sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and demand. When building a collection, many people seek 1965 quarters in brilliant uncirculated condition. Collectors recommend examining rolls or bags of quarters from banks or coin dealers, though today it is much harder to find high-grade examples in circulation. Grading services can authenticate and grade 1965 quarters, ensuring collectors know exactly what condition their coin is in and whether it has any special value. Beyond monetary worth, the 1965 quarter is historically meaningful. It represents a major shift in American coinage policy and serves as a reminder of the economic conditions of the 1960s. The silver shortage, the changes in U.S. minting technology, and the decision to produce clad coins all came together in 1965, making this quarter a cornerstone in modern U.S. numismatics. While most examples are common, the thrill of finding a rare transitional silver quarter or a unique mint error keeps collectors searching through their change, coin rolls, and inherited collections. Collectors also enjoy comparing the sound of a 1965 clad quarter to that of a 1964 silver quarter. When dropped, silver coins emit a distinctive high-pitched ring, while clad coins produce a duller sound. This auditory test, combined with weighing the coin, offers a quick way to check for potential rarities. Over the years, the 1965 quarter dollar has gained popularity not only among seasoned collectors but also among beginners starting their numismatic journey. Its availability, low cost, and connection to U.S. history make it an accessible and educational coin to study. Even if a 1965 quarter is only worth face value, it still tells a fascinating story about American history, economics, and coin production. Every coin is a piece of history you can hold in your hand, and the 1965 quarter is no exception. In summary, the 1965 quarter dollar coin from the United States is more than just a common piece of change. It is a symbol of transition from silver to clad coinage, a marker of economic history, and a potential treasure hunt for collectors who might discover rare silver planchette errors or unique varieties. Whether you are checking your pocket change, searching through rolls, or building a graded coin collection, the 1965 quarter remains an essential coin to understand and appreciate. From its design by John Flanagan to its role in U.S. minting history, the 1965 quarter continues to capture the attention of numismatists worldwide. Welcome to today's video where we are going to explore the history, design, specifications, and collectible value of the 1971 Washington quarter dollar coin from the United States. This coin is one of the fascinating pieces of U.S. coinage, minted at the Denver Mint in 1971, and it continues to be a popular subject among collectors, historians, and coin enthusiasts. The 1971 quarter is a part of the long-running Washington quarter series that started in 1932, honoring the first president of the United States, George Washington. The design by sculptor John Flanagan has remained one of the most recognized in American coinage. The obverse of the 1971 quarter features the portrait of George Washington, facing left, with the word liberty inscribed above his head and the national motto "In God We Trust" placed to the left. Below the bust, you will see the year 1971 clearly marked, and right next to it, a small letter D, which is the mint mark of the Denver Mint. This mint mark is important for collectors because it distinguishes this coin from the ones produced at the Philadelphia Mint or San Francisco Mint in other years. On the reverse side of the coin, we see the majestic eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, symbolizing both strength and peace. The inscriptions United States of America and E pluribus unum are placed above the eagle, while the denomination quarter dollar is clearly written at the bottom. When we talk about the 1971 D Washington quarter, we also need to look at its composition and physical characteristics. By this year, quarters were no longer made of silver. Instead, they were produced with a clad composition of copper and nickel. The coin has a weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a reeded edge. The copper-nickel clad coinage was introduced in 1965 to replace silver quarters, making the 1971 D quarter one of those modern clad issues that circulated heavily across the nation. In terms of mintage, the Denver Mint struck a very large number of these coins. Over 258 million 1971 D quarters were produced, meaning that they were very common in circulation. Because of this high mintage, most examples you might find today in circulation or coin rolls are only worth their face value of 25 cents unless they are in exceptionally high grades. However, for collectors who specialize in Washington quarters, condition makes a huge difference. Coins graded mint state, especially those with full details, can command much higher prices on the numismatic market. The value of the 1971 D quarter depends greatly on its grade, eye appeal, and whether it has any special errors or varieties. In circulated condition, this coin generally trades for face value, just 25 cents. However, in uncirculated condition, especially those certified by grading services as mint state 65 or higher, values can range from a few dollars to even higher for superb examples. Some 1971 D quarters with sharp strikes, minimal bag marks, and brilliant luster can sell for premium prices at auctions or from coin dealers. Error coins are another area where the 1971 D quarter becomes interesting. Collectors often search for striking errors, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, or other unusual varieties. A 1971 D quarter with a dramatic mint error could be worth far more than its face value, sometimes reaching into the hundreds of dollars depending on the rarity and demand for that error. That is why examining your quarters closely can sometimes reveal hidden treasures. Another important aspect of the 1971 D quarter is its role in the broader history of American coinage. The Washington Quarter series ran uninterrupted from 1932 until 1998, when the state quarters program began. Coins like the 1971 D quarter represent the transition between the earlier silver issues and the modern clad designs that we still use today. This makes it a significant coin for those studying U.S. minting practices and coinage changes of the late 20th century. For new collectors, the 1971 D quarter is an excellent starting point. It is widely available, affordable, and provides a clear example of how mint marks, condition, and strike quality affect the desirability and value of a coin. If you are building a Washington quarter collection, having examples from each mint in each year is essential, and the 1971 D is a key part of that journey. Even though it is common, finding one in pristine, untouched mint state condition can be a rewarding challenge. Collectors also enjoy learning about how these coins circulated. In 1971, the U.S. economy relied heavily on quarters for vending machines, parking meters, and daily commerce. The heavy use of these coins meant that most of them quickly became worn, scratched, and dull. That is why locating a high-quality, uncirculated 1971 D quarter is much less common today, despite the original high mintage. When evaluating your 1971 D quarter, always consider the details of the strike. Look at Washington's hair, the lettering, and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. The sharper these details are, the more likely your coin will grade higher. Additionally, original mint luster, lack of scratches, and overall eye appeal will all contribute to its collectible value. Another factor worth discussing is the role of third-party grading services. Having a 1971 D quarter certified by a reputable grading company can add trust and liquidity to its value. While it may not make sense for low-value circulated coins, high-grade mint state or error examples can benefit from professional certification. For long-term collectors and investors, the 1971 D quarter may not hold significant intrinsic value, since it contains no silver, but it still has strong numismatic interest. It is part of the great story of American coinage, showing how our money has evolved through history. Holding a 1971 D Washington quarter connects you with the everyday transactions of Americans from the early 1970s, making it more than just a piece of metal, it is a piece of history. In conclusion, the 1971 D quarter dollar coin from the United States is a common but historically important coin. It was minted in huge quantities, used in everyday commerce, and remains easy to find today. While most examples are worth only face value, those in uncirculated condition or with unique errors can be worth much more to collectors. For anyone interested in Washington quarters, this coin is an essential part of a complete collection. Whether you are searching coin rolls, checking your pocket change, or exploring dealer inventories, keep an eye out for high-quality 1971 D quarters. They may not be rare, but they hold a timeless place in American numismatics.